No one knows that I once loved the most beautiful woman in the cultivation world. I exhausted my cultivation to shield her from a life-threatening disaster, becoming a useless cripple. Liu RuYi, who admired strength, abandoned me the moment she saw my spiritual power wane. The once aloof Liu RuYi began to protect her junior brother, who was starting to show his talents, and looked at me with nothing but disdain. Yet, when she heard of my death, her hair turned white in an instant. Ding! Story Shots reminds you to click the subscribe button at the bottom right corner to read the full novel. From the idle chatter of my junior brothers and sisters, I learned that Liu RuYi had made a breakthrough. This was a great joy. I had no time to ponder why she didn't tell me and only wanted to congratulate her and celebrate together. I put 2 jars of plum wine into my storage pouch and immediately flew on my sword to Zhonglong Mountain. It wasn't until I saw the man and woman chatting and laughing under the willow tree that I suddenly realized she didn't seem to need me to celebrate with her. RuYi, congratulations on your breakthrough. I still spoke up, with a sincere smile on my face. The moment Liu RuYi saw me, her face fell, and her expression turned cold. She was a completely different person from the one who had just been smiling faintly. What are you doing here? Her tone was icy, as if accusing me of being tactless and ruining her mood. The words I wanted to say got stuck in my throat. The man beside her asked at the right moment, "Senior sister? Who is this?" Liu RuYi replied indifferently, "No one important, just someone I know from Qingya Mountain." Someone she knows? My face turned pale instantly. The man showed a thoughtful expression and extended his hand to me. "I am Chen Hongyuan. Pleased to meet you." He Hongwen. I instinctively reached out to shake his hand, but before I could touch it, he had already withdrawn his hand. My hand hung awkwardly in midair. Chen Hongyuan was just putting on a show. Liu RuYi saw it all but did not reprimand her junior brother for his lack of manners. He noticed my trembling hand and sneered, "He Hongwen, what's with your hand? Can you still hold a sword with it shaking like that?" Liu RuYi followed Chen Hongyuan's gaze, and her brows immediately furrowed. But there was no pity in her eyes, only disdain. That look made my heart ache. Overcome with anger, I spoke harshly to Chen Hongyuan. "I am the senior disciple of Qingya Mountain's inner sect. Regardless of cultivation or seniority, I am above you. You should show me respect. Such insubordination brings shame to Zhonglong Mountain." Chen Hongyuan was taken aback by my outburst and reluctantly apologized. But his apology seemed to touch Liu RuYi's nerve. She stepped in front of Chen Hongyuan, shielding him, and stood against me. "If he has a problem with manners, I, as his senior sister, will discipline him. It's not your place, as an outsider, to criticize people from Zhonglong Mountain." Chen Hongyuan hid behind Liu RuYi, smiling smugly at me. I had to admit, Chen Hongyuan was very handsome. When he smiled, he looked even more like a seductive fox. But is that why Liu RuYi protected him? Because he's good-looking? Because he's her junior brother? Liu RuYi spoke again, stabbing me in the heart once more. "You should go back. Having my junior brother with me is enough. Don't come over without a reason." With her saying that, how could I, as an outsider, have the face to stay? Swallowing the bitterness, I left like a defeated person, in a sorry state. Back in my courtyard, I finally couldn't hold on. The pain in my lungs made me cough violently. My coughing fits were becoming more frequent, and now I was even coughing up blood. I smiled bitterly inside. This small pain was far less heartbreaking than Liu RuYi's actions today. She is the direct disciple of the head of Zhonglong Mountain, the top sect of our time, a leader among this generation of cultivators, and a cold, stunning beauty. Many admire her, but few know that, with all her accolades, she has an unknown identity. My lover. Liu RuYi and I met by accident. She is the pearl of the cultivation world, while I am just an ordinary inner disciple. If she is the moon admired in the sky, I am the mud trampled on the ground. She rejected many cultivators more outstanding than me to be with me, making me feel it was the greatest honor of my life. Only a few close to us knew about our relationship. Later, As our feelings deepened, Liu RuYi told me something. Her master had predicted that she was destined to face a disaster, and she was beginning to show signs of it. That night, under the sparse stars and bright moon, I still remember her usual stern face softening as she whispered gently in my ear, "Hongwen, after I overcome this disaster, let's get married, shall we?" How could I refuse? I nodded repeatedly. "I will protect you for life." But later, she forgot that night's moon and our promise. Remembering the past, I felt sorrow again. Spiritual power churned inside me, burning my internal organs with pain. I couldn't control my violent coughing once more. The noise was so loud that it attracted the attention of a junior sister passing by the window. She rushed in, but my vision had already gone black, and I lost consciousness. Before collapsing, I could only hear my junior sister's anxious shouts echoing in my ears. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on the jade bed, wearing only an inner garment. Master Zhang Ziwei was beside me, scanning my body with his spiritual sense, his eyes full of worry. My junior sister knelt nearby, unable to stop her tears. "Master, is there really no hope for senior brother?" Several junior brothers, who usually had good relations with me, also looked worried. Zhang Ziwei glanced at my complexion and sighed, "I'm afraid." With these words, my junior sister burst into tears. "Senior brother has the best cultivation. How could he fall ill?" Zhang Ziwei was also puzzled. He had examined me many times and found no signs of poisoning. Why was my life force inexplicably draining away, with even my spiritual power almost depleted? "Hongwen, even now, you still refuse to say what happened during the time you disappeared?" Zhang Ziwei asked sternly. I smiled bitterly, not wanting to worry my master, and finally revealed the truth. Liu RuYi told me she had a life-threatening tribulation in her fate. Faced with such a severe trial, how could I stand by and do nothing? That day, I disregarded everything to shield her from 81 bolts of heavenly lightning, nearly losing my life. Injured like that, I could only recuperate at Liu RuYi's place and return to Qingya Mountain once I was almost healed. I had been grateful for surviving the ordeal, but I underestimated the heavenly Tao. Everything in the world follows the law of cause and effect. The life-threatening tribulation Liu RuYi was supposed to endure was altered by my intervention. Since she didn't die, someone had to take her place. Hearing this, Zhang Ziwei slammed his staff on the ground in anger. The strong momentum frightened the junior brothers and sisters below into not daring to breathe. "How foolish you are!" Looking at me, lying on the jade bed, growing thinner and paler by the day, the sect leader eventually said nothing more. My junior sister, full of righteous indignation, said, "Senior brother, you suffered so much for Liu RuYi. Why hasn't she come to see you? Could she not know that you were injured, senior brother?" Seeing my junior sister looking like she was ready to go to Tsanglan Mountain to drag Liu RuYi here, I shook my head. "Don't go looking for her." After her strength greatly diminished, she became somewhat indifferent to me. I was deceiving myself, thinking she still remembered my past kindness. Our relationship is no longer what it used to be. I knew I no longer deserved her. I had given almost everything for her, but I truly didn't know what I had done wrong. Zhang Ziwei sighed and instructed a junior brother to fetch a millennium-old dragon blood herb for me to consume. Only then did my hollow insides feel some relief, and my spiritual power began to slowly recover. But I knew the preciousness of the dragon blood herb and was unwilling to consume any more. Such a heavenly treasure used on a dying person like me was a waste. Zhang Ziwei knocked his staff forcefully, his beard bristling with anger. "You refuse to take it? Do you want me to bury you with white hair before your time?" Though he appeared angry, he couldn't hide the sorrow in his eyes. My heart ached, feeling most sorry for my master at this moment. Hundreds of years of daily cultivation, if not for his careful teaching, I wouldn't have my current level of cultivation. But to save Liu RuYi, it was all scattered in a day. During my recuperation, I was confined to the courtyard with the most abundant spiritual energy in Qingya Mountain. Felt like living a new life, The potency of the dragon blood herb was too intense, almost shattering and remolding my insides. The cold sweat from the pain soaked my robes over and over, but I gritted my teeth and didn't make a sound. After some time of recuperation, I had mostly recovered, and my master finally lifted my confinement. Seeing my gradual recovery, my master shifted from his previous worries and had more smiles on his face recently. My junior sister also became more lively. I knew my body well. This was not a sign of recovery. This was the final radiance of the setting sun. I desperately wanted to see Liu RuYi one last time, even though I had become so thin and gaunt that my cheeks had sunken in. During my recuperation, I sent countless letters, but there was no response. I asked my junior brothers and sisters about her, but they all surprisingly kept silent about Liu RuYi, as if they were very disdainful. I couldn't help but worry if something had happened to her. After much consideration, I flew on my sword to Zhonglan Mountain, but no matter how I searched, I couldn't find Liu RuYi. Panic set in and various scenes flashed through my mind. I stumbled upon a disciple and asked about Liu RuYi's whereabouts. Under the disciple's puzzled gaze, I heard him say, "Senior sister Liu and senior brother Chun went to attend the Withered Willow meeting and won first place. The cultivation world is abuzz with the news. Didn't you know? Didn't you know? Didn't I know?" I stood there in a daze, feeling awful. Senior sister Liu is back. Senior sister Liu and senior brother Chun are back, just down the mountain. The cheers and joyous voices snapped me back to reality. Many disciples of Zhonglan Mountain hurriedly rushed down the mountain, eager to catch a glimpse of Liu RuYi and Chen Hongyuan returning in triumph. I didn't know how I followed the crowd down the mountain. I only knew that when I came to my senses, with just one glance, I saw the pair of man and woman enveloped in cheers and applause. Chen Hongyuan smiled brightly. He was already a young hero who had won a battle, and it was said that after sparring with various Taoist friends at the Withered Willow meeting, his cultivation had greatly improved. At this moment he was high-spirited, gracefully and calmly expressing his gratitude to the junior brothers and sisters. And Liu RuYi, who had long shown a cold face to others, also smiled gently today, a rare sight. The two of them looked indescribably well-matched. I glanced at my own gaunt appearance. Now, he was more suited to stand beside Liu RuYi than I was. Is that what you think too? That's why you are smiling so happily, RuYi. Thinking this, I couldn't help but despise myself. I'm almost dead, yet I'm still jealous. What a sight. Sister Liu is so beautiful. Only someone as handsome as Brother Chun is worthy of her. A female disciple of Zhonglan Mountain beside me excitedly whispered to her friend, but it was extremely clear to my ears. Yes, yes, they are a perfect match made in heaven. Under the crowd's instigation, Chen Hongyuan smoothly tried to take Liu RuYi's hand. At that moment, Liu RuYi seemed to sense something and instinctively avoided Chen Hongyuan's hand. Chen Hongyuan's expression was unnatural for a moment, but quickly returned to normal. I didn't want to watch any longer and left first, but I hadn't walked far when footsteps followed behind me. He Hongwen Yu. Liu RuYi took the initiative to catch up, leaving behind those disciples who were celebrating her. But when she saw my current state, her tone changed. I don't know what you're trying to do, but is it necessary to torment yourself like this? Liu RuYi raised her eyebrows high, probing with her spiritual power, extremely surprised. What have you been doing lately? Your cultivation has not only stagnated but regressed. Chen Hongyuan also followed and happened to hear this, feeling a bit proud. Senior brother He, I respectfully call you that. I hope you don't mind. Cultivation is like sailing against the current. If you don't advance, you retreat. At this rate, you will be surpassed by me, your junior. I was looking forward to sparring with you someday. Liu RuYi didn't speak, but it was obvious she agreed with Chen Hongyuan's words. A fire of anger ignited in my heart, and in a moment of hot-headedness, I decided to compete with Chen Hongyuan. First of all, I'm not your senior brother. Don't address me wrongly, I said mercilessly, and Chen Hongyuan's face stiffened. There's no time like the present. If you want to spar, Then let's do it. After saying that, I made a gesture of invitation. Chan Hongyuan's eyes lit up. Then please guide me. Without another word, he drew his sword and charged. Throughout the process, I didn't draw my sword, not to show off, but because I no longer had the ability to draw my sword. Chan Hongyuan felt belittled and attacked quickly and fiercely, as if he wanted to show off in front of Liu RuYi. I knew I couldn't lose this duel, but no miracle occurred. The final result was no surprise. Chan Hongyuan defeated me completely. After all, I'm a waste who is almost out of spiritual power. Before Chan Hongyuan could say anything, Liu RuYi spoke first, her eyes full of disdain. You've disappointed me greatly. I knew Liu RuYi admired strength the most. When we were together, my cultivation was far above hers. But when her life-threatening tribulation passed, she faced almost no obstacles on her cultivation path, advancing rapidly, her strength now far above mine. During the duel just now, I forcibly circulated my spiritual power. The backlash had arrived. My pale face and the cold sweat didn't evoke any pity from Liu RuYi. Instead, she showed disdain. He Hongwen, take care of yourself. Her cold words hurt me more than the spiritual power rampaging inside me. Unintentionally, I collapsed to the ground. Chan Hongyuan even mocked. Even our sex female disciples wouldn't be so unsteady. Senior brother, are you all right? My junior sister couldn't find me at my place and worriedly followed me to Tsonglan Mountain. I regretted coming to Tsonglan Mountain, causing unnecessary trouble for my junior sister. She stepped forward to help me up. Seeing my miserable state, my junior sister glared angrily at Liu RuYi. How cruel of you! Do you know what senior brother did for you? Shut up! I stopped my junior sister from speaking further, then lost consciousness and fainted. My junior sister was frustrated but didn't say anything more. Liu RuYi felt uncomfortable seeing my junior sister supporting me and coldly snorted. Since someone is here to take you, I won't see you off. Take care. My junior sister, knowing the past between Liu RuYi and me, couldn't believe her cold-bloodedness. He is unconscious. How can you be so indifferent? Liu RuYi retorted. He sparred with my junior brother, not only lost but also fainted in his junior sister's arms. Do you think that's something to be proud of? Junior sister's mouth moved a few times, and it took her a while to react. She laughed angrily. Fine. Liu RuYi, you better remember every word you said today. Don't regret it in the future. I won't regret it. Liu RuYi's gaze was resolute. Even though I had already lost consciousness, for some reason, every word Liu RuYi said reached my ears. Maybe in her eyes, I was indeed very disgraceful. As soon as I landed, I couldn't bear it anymore, and a large mouthful of blood gushed out from my mouth. Black blood splattered everywhere, staining my white robe with shocking bloodstains. From a distance, it looked like red plum blossoms blooming in a field of pure white snow. Senior brother! Junior sister screamed and ran out of the courtyard to find the master. I recalled everything that had happened recently and felt a bit tired. I slowly closed my eyes. The candlelight beside the hall flickered. When I opened my eyes again, I couldn't even lift my hand. Zhang Ziwei continuously transferred spiritual energy into my body, but it was to no avail. Master, please stop. I spoke, my voice hoarse and unrecognizable. Don't waste spiritual energy on me. My life was slipping away so quickly that even Zhang Ziwei was powerless, only able to sustain my last breath with spiritual energy. It is I who have been unfilial. I spoke each word with difficulty. Zhang Ziwei's eyes reddened slightly. Stop talking nonsense. Once you recover, you'll face the sex rules. I genuinely smiled and replied cheerfully, Disciple is willing to accept the punishment. Zhang Ziwei looked at my emaciated, unrecognizable face and finally turned his head away, letting out a long sigh. The junior brothers and sisters who heard the news were already kneeling in unison. Senior brother, do you have any last wishes? We will do our best to fulfill them. Junior sister was already sobbing uncontrollably. I thought for a long time and said, Don't blame her, it was my own choice. I didn't name anyone, but they all knew who I was referring to. A moment later, a breeze blew into the hall. At this point, the oil was exhausted and the lamp went out. Liu RuYi had been feeling a bit restless lately. Since the last sparring match between Chen Hongyuan and He Hongwen, she hadn't seen He Hongwen again. She thought He Hongwen must have been distracted by romantic feelings, which delayed his cultivation and caused his significant decline in skills. She hoped that this defeat would make him realize her well-intentioned neglect, reflect on himself, and strive to cultivate diligently. This sword technique emphasizes continuity and seamless execution. A moment of distraction, and she couldn't swing her sword anymore. Liu RuYi felt annoyed. What on earth was He Hongwen up to? Thinking of his emaciated appearance the last time she saw him, a flash of unease crossed Liu RuYi's mind. "RuYi, what are you thinking about? So engrossed." Liu RuYi was startled by Chen Hongyuan's voice. She had been so focused that she hadn't noticed him approaching her. Liu RuYi snapped back to reality and scolded, "RuYi is not a name you can call me. I am your senior sister. Even though I have been entrusted by the master to take special care of you, you must not forget the rules and etiquette." Chan Hongyuan hid the resentment in his eyes and obediently replied, "I'm sorry, senior sister." But in his heart, he gritted his teeth in hatred. He really couldn't understand Liu RuYi's thoughts. He had thought that by defeating He Hongwen, Liu RuYi would choose him. From the beginning, he had approached Liu RuYi with a purpose, thinking that with his looks and abilities, he could quickly win her over. Unexpectedly, after all this time, Liu RuYi remained indifferent. It was as if she wanted to remain chaste for the one she loved. "Senior sister, you don't seem to be in good shape these days. Is something bothering you?" "Nothing. I'm just a bit concerned about He Hongwen," Liu RuYi blurted out. He Hongwen. Chen Hongyuan was stunned for a while upon hearing this name, then asked in confusion, "Isn't he already dead? Why are you thinking about him, senior sister?" Hearing this, Liu RuYi was struck as if by lightning. Had she been so obsessed with cultivation that she had lost her mind? Why couldn't she understand what was being said? "Chen Hongyuan, make yourself clear. What do you mean by dead?" Liu RuYi's emotions suddenly became agitated. Chen Hongyuan was startled by Liu RuYi's reaction and stammered, "Dead means dead." Liu RuYi realized she had lost her composure and forced herself to calm down. She thought this must be some trick by He Hongwen. But Chen Hongyuan's next words almost made Liu RuYi collapse. "I heard that the other day, Zhang Ziwei personally carved his name on the Qingya stone tablet, and the bronze bell on Qingya mountain rang 3 times. Only the names of the deceased would be carved on the stone tablet." Liu RuYi could hardly hide her panic, but she forced herself to remain calm. She deceived herself, saying, "Chen Hongyuan, there's no need to joke with me. Wouldn't it be better to practice your swordplay a few more times?" It was unclear whether she was saying this to Chen Hongyuan or to herself. How could the top inner disciple of Qingya Mountain die just like that? Even though Chen Hongyuan was eager to please Liu RuYi, he was a bit annoyed by her repeated denials. He couldn't help but retort, "Do I have any reason to joke? Why are you reacting so strongly, senior sister? The stone tablet is on Qingya Mountain. You'll see it for yourself when you get there." Liu RuYi's face turned stiff, and she clenched her fists tightly. The next second, she soared into the sky on her sword, moving at full speed, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Chen Hongyuan was left muttering to himself, "Why does senior sister act so strangely whenever He Hongwen is mentioned?" At the foot of Qingya Mountain, Liu RuYi stood before the stone tablet. My soul floated in the air, feeling a sense of loneliness in her silhouette. The words He Hongwen were clearly carved on the stone tablet, unmistakable. Liu RuYi couldn't help but reach out to touch the inscription, which hadn't been worn away by wind or rain, indicating it was carved not long ago. "What are you doing here?" Hearing a familiar female voice, Liu RuYi turned around. Her junior sister saw Liu RuYi's actions and sneered, "Thanks to you, senior brother, he is dead. Are you here to offer incense?" Liu RuYi's pupils shrank suddenly, and she involuntarily took a step back, but she said, It's just a name carved on a stone. What does it represent? Her junior sister was stunned for a moment, unsure whether to laugh or feel pained by Liu RuYi's stubbornness. Senior brother, he died to save someone like you. I feel it's not worth it for him. After saying that, her junior sister placed the white chrysanthemum she brought under the stone tablet and turned to leave. Save me? What do you mean by that? Explain yourself clearly. Liu RuYi grabbed her junior sister's hand frantically, leaving red marks with her strength. Where is he, Hongwen? Let him come out and meet me. I need to talk to him properly. Her junior sister, enraged, shook off Liu RuYi's hand and shouted, Senior brother is dead. Can't you understand human language? When she mentioned my death, her junior sister's eyes involuntarily reddened. Not getting the answer she wanted, Liu RuYi flew high on her sword without saying a word, sinking her breath into her dantian, using spiritual power to amplify her voice, and shouted loudly, He Hongwen, where are you? Come out. She shouted so loudly at another sect, completely unlike her usual aloof self. With her junior sister's cultivation, how could she possibly stop Liu RuYi? Many people on Qingya Mountain heard Liu RuYi's voice and came out curiously to see what was happening. Isn't this the #1 beauty of Zhonglan? What is she doing? She's looking for senior brother He, but didn't he die a few days ago? Liu RuYi heard all these voices clearly. She gritted her teeth, determined not to give up until He Hongwen came out. Who is causing trouble on Qingya? Liu RuYi's voice disturbed the master. She had seen my master before, so she bowed respectfully. Liu RuYi of Zhonglan Mountain. I have important matters to discuss with He Hongwen. I apologize for the disturbance. Please forgive me, senior. Zhang Ziwei remained silent for a long time before saying, Hongwen is dead. Please leave. Liu RuYi's pupils contracted slightly. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Liu RuYi suddenly became emotional, her eyes wide open. Is he angry with me and doesn't want to see me? Please, senior, tell him that I am here to apologize. Let him see me once. Zhang Ziwei saw that Liu RuYi was already in a state of heartfire and near madness. He said, It seems you won't be at peace until you see his body. Follow me. Liu RuYi's body swayed. At this moment, she already knew that He Hongwen was truly dead, but she still instinctively denied it, unwilling to accept it. Following Zhang Ziwei to the jade bed, Liu RuYi saw me lying there, silent. After my death, my body remained in the mortal world, but my soul had not completely dissipated. At this moment, I could clearly see myself lying on the jade bed, my face peaceful and serene, as if I had left with no regrets. Liu RuYi could no longer deceive herself. She knelt in front of the jade bed, crying her heart out. I thought I had let go of everything, but seeing her cry so sorrowfully, I couldn't help but feel some pity. But she already had Chun Hongyuan, so why shed so many tears for me? Her junior sister stood at the back, indifferent even though Liu RuYi cried as if she would faint the next second. You didn't cherish him when he was alive. Now that he's gone, who are you crying for? Her junior sister crossed her arms and spoke harshly. To put it bluntly, senior brother died because of you. Zhang Ziwei scolded. Do not speak recklessly. Liu RuYi, her face full of tears, turned around with a bewildered look. She cried, What is going on? Please tell me. I tried to rush towards her junior sister to stop her from revealing the truth. But I forgot. I was already a soul, separated from them by life and death. Her junior sister revealed the truth in full detail. Seeing Liu RuYi's tottering appearance, her junior sister still felt unsatisfied and cursed. You were the one who deserved to die, but my senior brother died in your place. Seeing Liu RuYi in this state, I felt a sense of relief. Turns out I wasn't a heartless person. I couldn't be completely carefree. After being hurt by Liu RuYi, I also harbored resentment towards her. Zhang Ziwei interrupted her junior sister from continuing, but he also didn't favor Liu RuYi and gave the final order to leave. My disciple told us before he died not to blame you, but human hearts are made of flesh. We can't forgive what you did. Miss Liu, please leave. Don't come back to Qingya Mountain again. Liu RuYi's tears had long dried up. She paused for a moment upon hearing this. She made one last plea. Can I visit Hongwen's place one more time? Zhang Ziwei, perhaps remembering how much I loved her when I was alive, didn't make things difficult for her and let her go. However, my junior sister followed Liu RuYi closely, as if afraid she might steal something. Entering my courtyard, Liu RuYi seemed to be frozen, standing still in a daze. Memories of old times stirred within me. At our cultivation level, both she and I had long since given up eating. Especially in her strict Songlan Mountain, there was no food at all. When she craved something, she would come to me. People love plum wine for its 7 parts sour and 3 parts sweet taste, but you prefer it pure sweet. At that time, I looked at her helplessly, my eyes full of doting affection. Liu RuYi, who was always strong and assertive outside, would only show a bit of her girlish charm in front of me. She said, "I don't care. Brew me sweet plum wine." How could I refuse her? Not to mention plum wine, even the celestial nectar from the heavenly palace, I would fetch for her. Seeing the mountain of wine jars in my courtyard, Liu RuYi burst into tears. My junior sister couldn't bear to see her like that and urged, "You've seen enough. Leave quickly." Liu RuYi knelt on the ground, eyes full of pleading. "Can I take something of his with me? Don't push your luck." My junior sister refused outright. Seeing the despair and pain in Liu RuYi's eyes, and recalling the love on my face when I mentioned Liu RuYi, she took a deep breath and entered my room. Moments later, she came out angrily and threw a treasure pouch at Liu RuYi. "This is the treasure pouch our senior brother had with him on the day you broke through. Since returning from Songlan Mountain that day, senior brother's condition worsened, coughing up blood incessantly in this courtyard. Take this and leave. Don't step foot on Qingya Mountain again. Senior brother loved you, but we don't." My junior sister's words were like a knife to the heart. Hearing them, Liu RuYi was nearly shattered. It seemed that if a gust of wind came, she would be blown away. The moment Liu RuYi took the treasure pouch, my soul began to dissipate. Now it was time to say a final goodbye. Watching Liu RuYi's figure, I whispered, "If there is a next life, I hope we don't meet again. I'm afraid I'd fall in love with you again." When she probed the treasure pouch with her spiritual sense, she immediately found the 2 jars of plum wine. Recalling my junior sister's words, Liu RuYi remembered what she had done that day. In an instant, her black hair turned into 3,000 strands of silver, flying in the sunlight. My junior sister was stunned. "Your hair!" Liu RuYi had turned white-haired in a moment, but she acted as if nothing was wrong, her eyes dead and terrifying. Under my junior sister's horrified gaze, she sincerely thanked her, clutching the worn treasure pouch tightly as she left. A month later, word spread that Liu RuYi, the most beautiful woman of Songlan, was sometimes seen talking to herself, sometimes crying and laughing, showing signs of demonic possession. Half a year later, Liu RuYi abolished her cultivation and left Songlan Mountain. This news shocked the cultivation world. Everyone knew she had always been proud of her high cultivation. How could she willingly abolish it? 3 years later, it was said that someone saw Liu RuYi in the distant southern foothills. She had opened a small winery. She sold nothing but plum wine. After that, there was no more news about her. Though still young, Liu RuYi now walked with difficulty, looking old and frail. With her head of white hair, passers-by only knew of an old woman selling plum wine in the southern foothills. Her past brilliance had long faded, and her once world-shaking beauty was forgotten in the river of time. In the vast world, only occasionally, when drinking plum wine, would Liu RuYi shed tears. In the deep, quiet nights, she would kneel before a worn treasure pouch, sincerely repenting. "If there is a next life, please come find me. Please give me a chance to love you again." Day after day, she kept praying. But the only response was silence. 100 years later, Liu RuYi slit her throat before a worn pouch that no longer showed its original form.